Hello, fellow gamers! February 2026 has been an absolute gauntlet for our wallets, delivering a massive wave of creative passion projects that put AAA studios to shame. If you're looking for your next obsession, you are in the right place. YAPYAP is a magic-themed co-op horror game where you and up to 5 friends play as expendable, screeching minions. Your master, a petty wizard, has summoned you for one specific purpose: break into a rival wizard's tower and cause absolute mayhem. Your goal is to hit a vandalism quota, using an unpredictable assortment of spells to wreck the place. But it's not just about breaking vases and setting carpets on fire. These towers are absolute death traps, packed with terrifying magical beasts and horrors that will hunt you down through the dimly lit corridors. It perfectly balances genuine tension with laugh-out-loud multiplayer chaos, making it an absolute must-play for your next game night. If you're craving a psychological thriller, the dark rites of Arkham demands your attention. What begins as a murder investigation quickly spirals out of control for Arkham detectives Jack Foster and Harvey Whitman. As you dig deeper into the crime scenes and interrogate tight-lipped suspects, you start to unveil a deeply disturbing connection between the Salem witch trials of the 17th century and the literal end of humankind. The game shines in its gritty, oppressive atmosphere, blending traditional noir detective work with escalating Lovecraftian horror. You will be piecing together clues while fighting to keep the detective's sanity intact as the reality around them begins to fracture. It's a beautifully written, slow-burn mystery that knows exactly how to get under your skin and stay there. For the RPG enthusiasts looking for a massive, nostalgic journey, Dragon Quest VII Reimagined brings a legendary classic into the modern era with spectacular style. You start your adventure on a peaceful, isolated little island, only to discover a terrifying truth. Your small kingdom is the only remaining landmass left in the entire world. To uncover what happened, you will gather a vibrant cast of companions and step through ancient ruins to travel back into the past. By saving these forgotten lands in history, you slowly restore them to the present-day world map. It's a grand adventure that honors the meticulous world building of the original while streamlining the combat and visuals for a fresh generation. If you love deep lore and classic turn-based excellence, this is an absolute must-play. Team Ninja returns to push the absolute limits of the massacre genre with Nioh 3. This time, the dark fantasy samurai action RPG breaks away from its traditional linear missions to drop you into a thrilling, seamless open field. This shift in world design completely revitalizes the exploration, making every corner of the map feel incredibly hostile and alive with folklore. The combat remains the gold standard, forcing you to master both precise samurai stances and lethal, agile ninja techniques to survive. You will need every tool in your arsenal, because the formidable yokai roaming these lands are smarter, faster, and more ruthless than ever. It balances the high-speed thrill of Ninja Gaiden with the deep build variety the series is famous for. For action fans who love a punishing, rewarding challenge, this is a must-play. After a highly anticipated journey through early access, HumanitZ has officially hit version 1.0, and it is a massive triumph for survival fans. This is a brutal, isometric, open-world sandbox set in a world completely devastated by a zombie outbreak. Whether you decide to brave the wasteland alone or team up with friends, your goal is simple: scavenge, craft, build, and fight to last as long as humanly possible. The 1.0 release polishes the gameplay loop to a mirror shine, offering deep base building, vehicle customization, and an unforgiving ecosystem where nature is just as deadly as the undead. You can't change the past, but the game constantly forces you to fight for the future of humanity. It's incredibly atmospheric, punishing, and easily one of the most rewarding isometric survival games. After more than a decade of anticipation, Edmund McMillan and Tyler Glale have finally unleashed Mewgenics, and it is a chaotic masterpiece. Think of it as a dark, twisted version of Pokémon crossed with Final Fantasy tactics, filtered entirely through the brilliant, gross-out humor of The Binding of Isaac. You are tasked with building the ultimate cat army, but the twist is that you do it through highly tactical, generational breeding. You will manipulate feline genetics, pass down unique elite traits and draft powerful abilities before sending your hyper-mutated pets into brutal, turn-based, rogue-like adventures. With thousands of item combinations, distinct character classes, and endless strategic depth, it rewards heavy experimentation and absolute lunacy. If you are looking for a survival horror game with a truly unique mechanical hook, Crisol, Theater of Idols, is one you cannot afford to miss. Set in a terrifyingly twisted, nightmare version of Spain, you play as a soldier captured by a brutal, dogmatic religious cult. Your fight for survival takes place across the cursed island of Tormentosa, a place overflowing with dark secrets and horrifying enemies. The genius of the gameplay lies in its combat system. You must use your own blood as ammunition. Every shot you fire drains your health, forcing you to constantly balance your offense with your literal life force. Pushing forward means risking draining yourself to the point of death, creating an incredibly stressful, high-stakes atmosphere. Combined with its striking, macabre art style and intense folklore horror, it is a brilliant standout for the genre. When Goichi Suda, better known as Suda51, promises ultra-violent science fiction, you know you are in for an unforgettable ride. Romeo is a Dead Man is the latest mind-bending, punk-rock, hack-and-slash action-adventure from Grasshopper Manufacture. You take control of Romeo Stargazer, a special investigator whose body has been resurrected with bizarre super technology after a brush with death. With space-time itself completely shattered, you are tasked with tracking down the universe's most wanted fugitives across a heavily fragmented cosmos. The gameplay is a glorious, hyper-stylized bloodbath, letting you fluidly swap between devastating swords and explosive firearms. It balances satisfying combat with surreal dimensional puzzles, all wrapped up in that signature, unapologetic, maximalist style the studio is known for. The dark fantasy classic that defined the modern action RPG genre is back with a massive punch. Diablo 2, Resurrected, Infernal Edition, breathes fresh, terrifying life into Sanctuary. This isn't just a simple visual facelift, it completely modernizes the experience with an entirely new Warlock class and a massive quality-of-life upgrades that players have been begging for. The core loop is more addictive than ever as you chain brutal skill and item synergies to carve through Hell's relentless armies. With a completely overhauled endgame loop, the chase for legendary loot feels deeply rewarding. Whether you are tackling the Dark Depths solo or teaming up with up to 8 players for chaotic co-op runs, this edition strikes the perfect balance between hardcore nostalgia and modern design. It's a glorious return to form. If February's intense horror and action releases have you feeling burnt out, Starsand Island is the perfect digital palate cleanser. This cozy, heartwarming life sim invites you to completely escape the city grind and embrace the simple, comforting joys of country life. Located on a stunning seaside paradise, the game strips away all stress and replaces it with pure charm. You will spend your days living alongside adorable capybaras, cats, and dogs, heading out to the docks to reel in a massive catch, or foraging through the enchanting moonlit forest. It features a gorgeous art style, incredibly fluid farming and crafting mechanics, and a community of quirky townspeople to befriend. It is a wonderfully wholesome, therapeutic experience that captures the true essence of a peaceful getaway. Sega and Ryuga Gotoku Studio have delivered an absolute dream package for brawler fans with Yakuza Kiwami 3 and Dark Ties. This is an extreme, ground-up remake of the beloved action-adventure beat-em-up Yakuza 3. You follow the legendary ex-Yakuza Kazuma Kiryu as he fights tooth and nail to protect the children of the Morning Glory Orphanage, all beautifully rendered in a stunning modern engine with completely overhauled, bone-crunching combat. But the real showstopper here is Dark Ties, a brand new, completely separate, standalone game included in the package. It features the ruthless Yoshitaka Mine, offering an incredibly fast-paced, high-octane experience that explores his rise to power. Getting a legendary remake alongside a completely fresh, action-packed companion game makes this an essential double feature. If you are looking for a brilliant twist on the co-op simulation craze, Roadside Research delivers pure, chaotic comedy. Supporting 1 to 4 players, this game tasks you with running a mundane highway gas station. The catch? You are actually undercover aliens, and your shift at the register is just a front while you prepare for a full-scale planetary invasion. The gameplay forces you to balance doing totally normal human things, like restocking shelves, mopping spills, and brewing terrible coffee, with highly illegal alien research right under the customer's noses. If you act too suspicious, the government will catch on, ending your mission. It's a communication-heavy stress of Overcooked with hilarious sci-fi stealth, making it an absolute blast to play with friends. When the team behind the spectacular Black Mesa remake announces a new project, you stand up and pay attention. Rogue Point is a phenomenal 4-player co-op tactical shooter that completely redefines what it means to actually work as a team. Set in a world where corporate conglomerates deploy private mercenary armies via a mobile app, you and your squad represent the elite vigilante crew fighting back. The game ditches the trend of solo, lone wolf playstyles by actively rewarding true cooperation. Healing a teammate is faster and nets you more tactical cash to spend on the dynamic Counter-Strike-style economy. Missions feature evolving objectives across sprawling maps that are constantly reshaped by a parametric design system, ensuring no 2 deployments feel the same. It perfectly balances a low barrier to entry with a deep, punishing tactical ceiling. Dark fantasy strategy fans rejoice because Disciples Domination is a triumphant return to a beautifully bleak realm hanging in the absolute balance. Set 15 years after Aviana freed Nevendar, the world is once again fracturing under the weight of political intrigue and ancient malice. You take your place directly on Queen Aviana's throne, tasked with holding a crumbling, desperate kingdom together. The gameplay weaves deep, tactical empire management with punishing, grid-based, turn-based combat. You will need to carefully recruit powerful units, manage scarce resources, and make heavy narrative choices that ripple across your territories. Its gothic art design captures a grim atmosphere perfectly, making every victory feel hard-fought and every loss devastating. The masterminds behind Little Nightmares 1 and 2 are back, and they are taking us on a journey that is darker, more twisted, and far more terrifying than anything they've done before. Reanimal is a stunning horror adventure game that follows a brother and sister as they literally go through hell to rescue their missing friends. To save them, they must navigate and escape the fractured, nightmarish island they used to call home. The game retains that iconic, deeply unsettling cinematic platforming style, but dials up the psychological dread. You will explore highly atmospheric, oppressive environments while avoiding grotesque, mutated, animal-like monstrosities that hunt you from the shadows. Whether you brave this nightmare solo or team up in local or online co-op, the tension is relentless. It's a morbid, must-play masterpiece. Squanch Games is back to deliver another heavy dose of sci-fi absurdity with High on Life 2. This time around, a massive intergalactic conspiracy threatens the very fate of humanity, forcing you to step back into your bounty hunting suit. You will team up with an entirely new cast of foul-mouthed, talking alien guns, each with their own eccentric personalities and devastating combat mechanics. The sequel dials the gameplay up to 11, letting you shoot, stab, and now hover skate your way through breathtakingly exotic alien locales. The traversal feels faster and much more vertical, turning encounters into chaotic, high-speed arenas. If you loved the original's unique blend of tight first-person shooting, vibrant art direction, and unapologetic Adult Swim-style comedy, this sequel delivers exactly what you want. If you're tired of the frustrating 90% chance to hit misses in traditional strategy games, Dobbel Dungeon is the breath of fresh air you've been waiting for. Developed by GamePie, this cozy turn-based tactical RPG completely removes random combat misses and places the power entirely in your dice rolls. If your dice match the required slots on a skill, your action executes flawlessly, allowing for pure, satisfying tactical planning. Wrapped in a beautiful, tactile claymation tabletop aesthetic, you will draft a 3-hero party from a roster of unique characters, each sharing a central pool of skill points to customize their distinct skill trees. As you sail across vibrant islands trying to break a chaotic curse that has mutated the local wildlife, you will collect powerful artifacts and unlock clever ways to gently nudge or manipulate your dice values. It's an incredibly charming, addictive strategy gem. The legendary strategy title returns to expand its borders yet again with the last Chieftains expansion for Age of Empires II Definitive Edition. This expansion pivots the spotlight toward medieval South America, bringing a vibrant slice of history and folklore into the game. You will command 3 fascinating new civilizations, the Mapuche, the Muisca, and the Tupi, each arriving with entirely custom regional assets, gorgeous distinct architecture, and highly specific unit mechanics designed to upend the competitive meta. The Mapuche focus on heavy counter tactics, utilizing the Kona cavalry to shred wounded targets and bolus riders to severely slow enemy movement. The Muisca dominate the high Andes with immense religious and economic power, deploying Getcha warriors who inspire and heal allies upon death. Meanwhile, the Tupi rule the dense Brazilian rainforests by training their lethal Blackwood archers in rapid pairs alongside heavy Ibirapema clubmen who deal crushing area of effect damage. If you are feeling nostalgic for the golden age of 16-bit gaming, Under the Island is a beautiful love letter to the 90s action-adventure genre. Developed by Slime King Games, this vibrant 2D adventure casts you as Nioh, a spunky newcomer to a seemingly peaceful island. When she accidentally discovers that the entire island is sitting on a sinking ecosystem, the clock starts ticking to save her new home from a watery grave. The gameplay channels the spirit of The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, tasking you with exploring a sprawling world overflowing with secrets, solving clever environmental puzzles, and battling fierce monsters. What makes it special is its non-linear approach. You are actively encouraged to explore at your own pace, stumbling upon hidden caverns, unique tools, and eccentric locals. With its gorgeous pixel art, catchy chiptune soundtrack, and genuine sense of wonder, it's a heartwarming journey back in time. If you ever thought traditional golf was just a bit too slow and polite, Super Battle Golf from Brimstone is here to completely shatter that illusion. This is a high-octane, online multiplayer party game for 1 to 8 players, where the gentleman's agreement is thrown entirely out the window. There is no waiting for your turn here. Everyone swings, sprints, and shoots at the exact same time in a free-for-all rush to the hole. The goal is to finish first by any means necessary, and the game arms you with a truly ridiculous arsenal of sabotage tools. You can whack your rivals directly with your club for a quick speed boost, place landmines along the way, run people over in an 8-seater golf cart, or literally call down an orbital laser from across the map to incinerate anyone getting too close to the hole. With dozens of chaotic courses, deep character customization, letting you swing anything from a standard iron to a literal chicken leg, and non-stop madness, it is the ultimate multiplayer game night experience. If you thought dealing with a broken elevator was stressful, KLETKA takes that anxiety to a horrifying new level. This is a brilliant claustrophobic co-op horror game for up to 6 players, where your primary objective is simply to go down in an elevator. The catch? The elevator is a living, breathing, flesh and metal monstrosity, and it is actively trying to eat you. To keep the elevator descending, you and your squad must constantly scour deadly, procedurally generated floors for trash, meat, and anomalies to feed into its furnace. It demands multitasking. While some players venture into the dark, monster-infested corridors to scavenge resources, others must stay behind to repair broken cables, fight off parasites, and keep the beast fed. If you neglect its hunger for too long, it will happily snack on one of your crewmates. If you have been yearning for the golden age of mascot 3D platformers, Fabraz has delivered a massive love letter to the genre with Demon Tides. Serving as a spectacular open-world sequel to Demon Turf, this game drops the tiny demon queen Beebs into a high-speed adventure across the vast, secret-filled ocean realm of Ragnar's Rock. Beebs can seamlessly morph into a bat or a water snake to maintain blistering momentum. Instead of forcing you down a rigid path, the sprawling islands act like open playgrounds where every inventive solution is the correct one. By hunting down hidden chests and conquering trials, you unlock custom talismans, like hookshots and paragliders, that allow you to completely rewire and fine-tune your moveset. It is an absolute masterclass in pure mechanical freedom. From Stoic, the brilliant minds behind the Banner Saga, comes Towerborne, a visually spectacular side-scrolling action RPG brawler. Stepping into the boots of an ace, a legendary immortal warrior, you are humanity's last line of defense. Reborn from the safety of the monolithic Belfry Tower, you must venture out into a crumbling world to push back a dark, encroaching corruption and uncover the deep mysteries surrounding the fallen city of Numbers. The combat feels snappy, combo-heavy chaos of classic arcade beat-em-ups with modern RPG depth. What makes its recent 1.0 full launch truly incredible is that the team completely dropped the original free-to-play, always-online structure. Instead, it is now a complete pay-to-play package that supports both full offline solo play and seamless online co-op for up to 4 players. Paired with a gorgeous animated art style and a sweeping orchestral score, it is an absolute joy to grind for loot with friends. If you are tired of building cities on flat, easy fields, Laysara, Summit Kingdom takes the city-building genre to breathtaking new heights. Developed by Quite OK Games, this strategy simulator forces you to establish thriving settlements on the sheer vertical slopes of unforgiving mountains. There is absolutely no combat here. Your only enemy is the terrain and nature itself. The core gameplay centers around managing a strict society: lowlanders who farm, artisans who manufacture goods, and monks who pray at high altitudes. Because space is limited and resources are scattered vertically, you have to engineer complex networks using bridges, shafts, and even cargo-carrying yaks to move goods up and down the cliffs. Every mountain presents a unique puzzle, but the ultimate threat is the avalanches. You can't stop them, so you must carefully plant forests as natural barriers or manually trigger them early to keep your city from being buried. Capcom hits a home run with Resident Evil Requiem, the highly anticipated 9th mainline entry in the legendary survival horror franchise. Stepping away from the isolated rural terrors of recent titles, Requiem takes us back to where the nightmare began, dropping players near the eerie, derelict ruins of Raccoon City to investigate a devastating new outbreak. The game splits its narrative between 2 vastly different perspectives. You will play as Grace Ashcroft, an FBI intelligence analyst whose segments lean heavily into classic anxiety survival horror, forcing you to sneak around terrifying, unkillable stalkers, manage precious inventory space, and solve complex puzzles. Then, you will switch over to the legendary Leon S. Kennedy, whose chapters shift the pace into action as he faces down horrific new biological threats. Seamlessly allowing players to swap between first and third-person camera views, it is a masterfully atmospheric return to form that perfectly honors the series' roots. And that wraps up our look at these incredible titles. Which of these games are you adding to your wish list first? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay ahead of the game, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.